concerned as everybody is about the terrorist attack. Timothy McVeigh was a vicious terrorist. He was arrested. Terrorism still on the books internationally and nationally is a criminal. It's a crime, and we should deal with it. We dealt with it rather well with Timothy McVeigh. But why I really fear it is we have drifted into a condition that we were warned against, because our early founders were very clear. They said, don't be willing to sacrifice liberty for security. Today, it seems too easy that our government and our Congresses are so willing to give up our liberties for our security. I have a personal belief that you never have to give up liberty for security. You can still provide security without sacrificing our Bill of Rights.
Yeah, that is America.
I want to bring others in, but do you want to respond, Mr. Speaker?
Yeah. Timothy McVeigh succeeded. That's the whole point.
Hit pause.
Timothy McVeigh.
You got a better chance of dying, as I've broken down a million times, from honeybee stings than terrorism. I mean, it's just the way they sap it, the way they push the fear. And this is one of Ron Paul's only points I disagree with. Ron Paul's not stupid. He knows there's the newscast of the bombs being removed at Oklahoma City. He knows about the Southern Poverty Law Center running the Elohim City compound. That's all out there. And so Ron Paul always goes with this line about, you know, just arrest bin Laden or whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, they've put al-Qaeda in charge of Libya now. The government got the underwear bomber on the plane. But see, it's seen as baggage to be for 9/11 truth, to face reality. And so it allows them to play these games where torture will keep us safe. Really? What about keeping us safe from a government that can arrest anybody they want? Continuing here. By the way, Jaron was just pointing out in my ear, you notice out of all the candidates, whatever, 8 of them that are up there, during that comment by Ron Paul, they have Gingrich already in the split screen. It's all pre-set up, and then they go to Gingrich for a response. It's all planned to get Gingrich like, ooh, he's smart. Ooh, he has these pre-scripted things. We're going to ask Ron Paul about McVeigh. Ron Paul's going to respond. We know how he's going to respond. And then we're going to have Newt Gingrich respond. I mean, it's all ridiculous. 150-something people die, so America, the Bill of Rights, Constitution has to die. I mean, it's in the news today that the government wants to pass a law where they can kill or arrest citizens anytime they want. Just get rid of it all. Let's go back to a little bit more, then we're going to go to Richard Reeves. Here's more of it.
They killed a lot of Americans.
Oh, no.
I don't want a law that says, after we lose a major American city, we're sure going to come and find you. I want a law that says, you try to take out an American city, we're going to stop you.
All right, pause. Oh, you try to take out an American city? America's been conquered by the banksters that you work for. The new Bank of the World Goldman Sachs system, the global government. Remember Dick Cheney when he was getting grilled on national TV? What does it, Meet the Press, about a real 9/11 investigation? He said, you do that, you're going to distract us from keeping you safe, and a major city will be nuked. Is that understood? Yeah, we know you'll nuke a major city. Al-Qaeda, who they've now given thousands and thousands of shoulder-launched missiles. And they know the public's so dumb, they'll blow up some planes and say Al-Qaeda did it and take our rights, and no one will say, why'd you give them missiles? We'll probably be in Libya, and I say we, that is we being drugged by our hair by the globalist, in Libya in 2 years to, quote, take out Al-Qaeda. In fact, they're already in the news saying they got to go into other countries in Africa to kick out Al-Qaeda, which they put in power. Newt Gingrich, Mr. Carbon Taxes. He's like Mitt Romney and who wants open borders, gun control, abortion, carbon taxes, wrote Obamacare, and the Republicans love him because they're idiots. Let's play a little bit more of that monster, Newt Gingrich, who divorced his wife while she was dying of cancer. These are sociopaths that are all about themselves. Let's go back to it. I mean, look at him.
This is like saying that we need a policeman in every house, a camera in every house, because we want to prevent child beating and wife beating.
Yes.
You can prevent crimes by becoming a police state. So if you advocate the police state, yes, you can have safety and security, and you might prevent a crime. But the crime then will be against the American people and against our freedoms, and we will throw out so much of what our revolution was fought for. So don't do it so carelessly.
Congresswoman Bachmann, let me bring you into this conversation.
Yeah, hit pause. Hit pause. I'm going to get to more of that next hour with Bob Chapman. But I want to get to your calls here, at least those that have been holding. Richard Reeves came in today. We just got back from our trip around the country. Hey, Richard, do you know where the newspaper is where it says Girls' Night Out, all female police checkpoints?
I think it is somewhere on the vehicle somewhere. I'll have to track it down, but I remember seeing that paper.
Because I thought I hauled it off, and then I couldn't find it.
I think I've got it somewhere.
I don't even want to cover this stuff till I get it all together. Of course, I had the little activity books they give all the kids about how to spy on your parents. That's nice at the national parks.
Well, that is nice. They find every way they can to encroach on us. It's
amazing. The state knows best, Richard.
No,
now I got a document cam shot over here of a printout. This is the two-sided one-sheet Ron Paul 2012 color printout. I am the champion of the Constitution, Ron Paul, and it breaks down where he stands. They want to get this out to all Iowa voters. Now, we're not going to just talk about this. We're talking about some other Ron Paul strategy. You've been a big activist and a delegate and all the rest of it, Richard. But we are trying to get this out to everybody right now. So we're seeing him in first or second place in scientific polls, and the media is having to admit now he is a top-tier candidate. So their hoax is really starting to break. Now they're moving into the attack mode with these setups with Gingrich and people.
Well, thanks to all the grassroots activists out there, that's why the polls are going so well for them. As a matter of fact, they're so scared of some of these straw polls. For example, here in Texas, they even canceled the Texas straw poll earlier this year. Normally in September, August, they do a straw poll in Texas for the presidential race, and they didn't even do it here for that very reason, is the grassroots activists. Most campaigns are run from the top down. The top cadre of campaign people put together some event, or they'll try to create some news event. With the Ron Paul thing, it's the reverse. It's from the bottom up. We saw that with the creation of the real Tea Party. The origin of the Tea Party were Ron Paul revolutionaries. We had the past money bombs, like remember the 5th of November. Remember how the news media tried to spin that, that it was all about a violent thing or whatever, when it was just kind of a rallying cry to push everybody forward. And all the different money bombs that the volunteers have coordinated and put together, and the past meetup groups that they've done over the years, the meetup groups that organically sprung up. So this is and I forgot about the Ron Paul blimp back in 2007, 2008 election cycle.
Or Ted Anderson in the Ron Paul Air Force.
That's right. I mean, the grassroots.
And again, look how Ron Paul's probably 5 times bigger this time. I told people, don't get mad if he loses. It's fighting that wins. Now people have heard about liberty. Now the hottest movement on campuses, and this is an Upset Bilderberg group from Tucker sources that are impeccable, is that it's not communism or mainline fake right-wing stuff that's popular. It's liberty. It's anti-big state ideas. It's Atlas Shrugged type stuff. The system is scared.
Well, they should be scared because, like I said, all these other campaigns that you look at, you don't see any grassroots real fervor to them or whatever. And the Ron Paul campaign is the only one that I've been able to discern and identify that does have that grassroots fervor where people get together, they get their websites together, they get their coalitions together, and they themselves take action. And that's what really is differentiating the other campaigns especially. And now we are just this close. And the straw polls and all these different polls that they're showing, we are just this close from really being able to go in and win primary elections. In the past, I said, hey, we can have an effect in primary elections, but this time, Iowa, New Hampshire are key places. Iowa coming up is January 3rd for Iowa. New Hampshire is January 10th. And folks, I cannot tell you how key these are. And Iowa is especially a key place because that is a caucus state. And what that means is people literally physically show up to have their bodies and their hands counted. as to how they're going to vote in presidential primary. That's how they vote. It's kind of like a convention type process. And so these things, I know this is just the day after Turkey Day, and people are probably still hung over from the UT-A&M game. And I know I heard you on the show talking earlier how they had a photo finish and everything on that game. And I didn't even know until I heard you talking about the game. So that's how unplugged I am from football. But folks, the time to start thinking about...
Well, I mean, it'd be fine to be plugged into football if we had our Constitution. But, I mean, literally, now MF Global's $3 billion missing.
Really?
And they're just saying you're not getting your money.
And MF Global was such a small outfit that prior to you and Gerald Celente talking about it, I'd never even heard of it. Imagine if we see Vanguards and Fidelities and outfits that are almost household words going down the tubes like that. That's
what the derivatives are going to do. And at each stage, we're going to give the bankers everything. Okay, here's $10 trillion more. Just save my pension fund. But if you look at it in the aggregate, they're going to steal it all slowly. First, they cut, half the salami, and you keep half. When they say, give us half again, give us half again, pretty soon you're down to one slice, and you're going, okay, bankers save me. And they're like, okay, you get half a slice, then quarter slice, and then, a tenth of a slice, and then a tenth of a slice, until it's the size of an atom. And you're like, thank you, bankers, for my one atom of salami.
Right.
I mean, it's incredible. I mean, I've got a stack of news, mainstream, saying the world is now ruled by Goldman Sachs. They control the countries. There's no more freedom in Europe. And they're raising taxes on everyone. And that's the way it is. And
you just pointed out that in Europe, that's where to look at to see where they're trying to make us go. Because in Europe, they are really cracking down on the austerity and putting people everywhere.
Oh, it's all coming here, folks. I mean, it's amazing. But getting back to Ron Paul, tell us about this mailer, because this is, my cousin is here in town, and he's in Illinois working, and he told me he said he is doing the phone bank stuff where they give him the numbers and he calls people and basically asks them questions about the election to get them talking, and then brings up Ron Paul and his real issues, which is very effective in Iowa and other key states. He's talking about physically going to Iowa.
Well, and that's what happened last election cycle, is a lot of folks did go to Iowa, and I predict that this year even more folks will go to Iowa. We had people from Texas going up to Iowa. We had people from Texas going up to New Hampshire and working as volunteers up there. So that's the type of grassroots thing that's going on with the Ron Paul campaign last election and this election that other campaigns really don't have, unless they pay big dollars to all these people to go, which the Ron Paul campaign obviously is not going to have. But what a lot of Ron Paul activists have done, similar to a Ted Anderson effort, Ron Paul blimp type effort, is they've put together a great brochure to try to break through the media Berlin Wall. And their plan is to get those mailed to every Republican, what they call a super voter, regular primary voters in Iowa and New Hampshire. They want to mail those out to those targeted past primary voters, and also independent primary voters. So those are key voters that are going to get these mailers, and they're just at the rock bottom, just cost price. If you go to that ronpaulproducts.com, Ron Paul Products.
Is this an official Ron Paul thing?
Right. It's sanctioned by all it's an affiliated of like the dailypaul.com, ronpaulforums.com. All of these groups that are Ron Paul affiliated websites are together on this effort. And that's how you can find, as a matter of fact, the way you can do it is you can drill down to where you can go to a specific county in Iowa, and you can fund that effort of getting those brochures mailed to those particular counties. And so the plan is, if they can succeed in Iowa in getting about 500,000 brochures mailed to all the super primary voters in Iowa, then the next phase would be going to New Hampshire and South Carolina and et cetera. But the deadline really is to get these things out on time, because the January 3rd caucus date for Iowa is right around the corner. The deadline is only about a week away for them to be in time to get these things out. So ronpaulproducts.com, and you'll see right there, it says mail the brochure. You click on that link and it'll walk you through going to select a county there in Iowa, and you can do a variety of other things to help there too. But yeah, all these affiliated